It's tempting to think Rome became powerful because Romans were simply tougher, but the more revealing possibility is almost the opposite. Rome spent generations facing problems that forced them to learn.
A Roman citizen called for service left ordinary work and household duties behind. He entered a republic whose future dominance was anything but inevitable. In 343 BCE, Rome became entangled in its first war with the Samnites. The Samnites occupied the rugged central Apennines, where campaigning imposed difficult practical demands. Mountain routes complicated movement, communication, supply, and the use of large formations. Roman armies also had to operate at growing distances from the city. Pressure arrived through geography, rival communities, repeated mobilization, and uncertain outcomes. The Latin War of 340 to 338 BCE added another severe test. Rome's settlement in 338 reorganized relationships with defeated Latin communities. Some communities received Roman citizenship, while others remained allies under Roman leadership. That political settlement widened the pool of people Rome could mobilize for war. The Second Samnite War, beginning in 326 BCE, sustained the pressure for years. Roman tradition remembered the Caudine Forks in 321 BCE as a profound humiliation. Whatever the embellished details, the conflict certainly did not end there. Rome mobilized again, returned to campaigning, and kept pressing into contested territory. A Latin colony at Luceria extended Roman presence deep into southern Italian campaigning country. Colonies could anchor territory while placing organized communities near important routes. In 312 BCE, Appius Claudius began the road later known as the Via Appia. Its first route connected Rome directly with Capua during the Samnite conflict. Military pressure was producing roads, settlements, alliances, and routines that could be reused.
Pressure does not make people stronger by magic. It creates repeated tests. If a group can preserve what works, every hard test can leave behind capability.
The Roman army itself changed substantially during the 4th century BCE. The exact chronology of the Manipular Legion remains debated by modern historians. By the early 3rd century, Roman forces were using a flexible manipular organization. Smaller tactical units offered commanders practical options across broken and uneven ground. It would be too neat to claim the Samnites simply taught Rome this system. The evidence points instead to a longer process of military reorganization. Repeated campaigns gave soldiers many opportunities to practice movement, discipline, and coordination. A recruit learned commands from officers, but also watched experienced men beside him. Useful habits could spread through imitation without requiring a written manual. One soldier's practical adjustment could become normal behavior across an entire group. Rome's alliance system added another layer to this accumulated capability. Allied communities supplied troops alongside Roman citizens under Roman strategic direction. That gave the Republic access to a formidable reservoir of military manpower. The system was not created in one deliberate master plan. It developed through settlements, obligations, bargains, coercion, and repeated military necessity. In 295 BCE, Rome faced a broad enemy coalition at Sentinum. The challenge demanded coordination across forces, commanders, routes, and allied contingents. Rome's institutions kept campaigns functioning despite regular changes of magistrates. The strength, therefore, did not belong to one unusually gifted commander. It increasingly belonged to practices the Republic could reproduce.
And here's the important shift. Rome was not merely surviving hard wars. It was turning repeated demands into routines, infrastructure, and shared habits that could be used again.
One campaign solution mattered only if the next generation could use it. Roads preserved access to difficult theaters of war. Colonies preserved a Roman presence far from the city. Alliances preserved access to soldiers beyond Rome's citizen body. Military routines preserved coordination when fresh levies entered the field. Each arrangement answered a practical pressure created by expansion. Together, They gave Rome capabilities that could be applied repeatedly. This is what separates endurance from adaptation. Endurance survives a problem, adaptation changes what you can do next. By 290 BCE, Rome had become the dominant power in peninsular Italy. That result does not prove that hardship automatically makes people stronger. Pressure can exhaust a group just as easily as it can educate one. The difference is whether useful learning survives the immediate emergency. Rome repeatedly converted urgent problems into arrangements that could be used again. Those arrangements outlasted the campaigns that had made them necessary. They also gave new citizens and allies established behaviors to copy. Capability accumulated because the Republic did not begin every challenge from nothing. Pressure creates capability only when useful responses are repeated, copied, and retained. Without retention, hardship is merely damage with a heroic story attached. With retention, a solved problem becomes part of future capacity.
Rome was not strengthened simply because life was hard. It was strengthened when hard problems forced responses the Republic could keep. And that leaves a rather awkward question. What happens when the pressure that built capability is no longer there?